Hey, my name is Amelia Poamz. I'm a presenter. I'm a music enthusiast. I'm a community coordinator. I'm a workshop facilitator, all the names under the sun. Basically, I just like to use my voice to hold spaces where people feel seen and appreciated. I recently have launched an initiative called the Under 5K Club, which is all about celebrating, championing, and shining a light on really talented music artists that have under 5,000 followers. Why did I do this? Why have I done this? I've done this because we are very much in a day and age where follower counts, views, and all the numbers seem to just have taken over, which has added so much pressure to creatives now, where you need to have an online presence that can sometimes be taken away from your creative practice, but also can just make you feel like maybe you're not good enough, or maybe you're not being noticed, or maybe you're being overlooked. And I've actually heard industry folk literally talk about following and talk about the need to have a large following. So that's why I created the space, just to add a refreshing take on having under 5,000 followers, because we all start from somewhere. And I think when you're growing a community, when you're growing a fan base, when you're putting yourself out there, we should appreciate every step of the process. That being said, though, I want all of the artists that I talk about to reach the point where they have a huge social media following. I definitely do want that. But it got me thinking anyway, like, what actually changes when you do? What does it actually mean? I'm lucky enough to have known and know loads of music artists that are actually doing really quite well, and they have surpassed 5,000 followers. I mean, they've surpassed well over 50,000 followers. And I thought actually I'd use this space to share some knowledge and insight, not from myself, but from artists like that. So I'm going to be joined very shortly by 4 very talented music artists that I've been lucky enough to see grow through their journey, not only grow as artists, but grow their social media following too. And I want to get the tea. Does it actually mean anything? Does it open doors, or does suddenly you just enter a new lane where the pressures are the same, but they're higher? Let's find out.
And I said, okay. And I remember like writing it in the captions of my posts and saying it in videos, like, it's cool to have you lot here on the internet with me, but I'd like to link up in person and like take this energy on our phone screens and like do this in real life. Mm-hmm. And that worked. So that was an example of how I utilize this sharp increase of attention. And see, now I'm doing my headline show in a couple of weeks, but all challenging. I've been humbled, like literally the past week I've been humbled, like,
oh my God, I'm losing people.
I was tired and I just thought, and in my head I just thought, let me just say what I actually think.
It's basically, it can't be about numbers.
You know, it's a legal trap, innit?
And my music was Rascal ready. My social media numbers were not Rascal ready.
So the Under 5K Club was born from when my show on BBC Radio London was discontinued. It's crazy as well how you attach yourself to these platforms. So I was questioning my value. I was questioning, okay, who am I anymore?
So that was surreal for me. I'm like, this came from just going ham.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so
that's amazing.
And this is social media.
That's through, that's through Twitter, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, through Twitter, yeah. It was.
You saying you want to be a career musician. You're saying you want to be in the 1% bracket of people, and then you expect it to be easy.
This is
what?
So now I think it's about teaching people how to stay, how to make sure their mental health is good in this, because
that's why I said it before you, innit? Because I knew you were going to say, I was going to ask you about this.
How do we shift that power dynamic? Do you now feel like you're almost now at service and almost doing exactly what Instagram has wanted you to do? Because really and truly, you keep doing that. Instagram's winning.
It's amazing, bro.
When you make good music and you put it in front of people, it will find the people that it needs to find.
Here's a challenge now. So the Box Pot show sold out in like 4 days because it was free. So that was amazing. I was buzzing. I was like, oh my gosh, 4 days, 600 people took the That was sick.
That's amazing.
I'm doing my headline now and tickets aren't free. I'm selling, and it's a lot harder to make people
100.
pay for things.
Yeah, 100.
So there's this thing of having people's attention, and they're willing to come to something because it's free. Having people's attention and they're willing to pay money to come to something. So my challenge now is making people come, so that we've sold tickets, but we haven't sold out yet. Shows in 2 weeks. So that's like my reality check. Because after I done a pop-up show, I was like, so imagine I do a headline and like we sell out like this quickly. And then like I've been humbled. Like literally the past week I've been humbled. Like, all right, D, you got 20,000 followers, but like you ain't sold out your show yet. So it shows that high amount of followers just doesn't guarantee the translation, especially when money is involved, you know? So yeah.
I think in answering, because I hear you on that loud, because I think it's almost like, it's a relationship, innit? It's like, I feel like growth is like the honeymoon phase. And then in terms of retention, you're cultivating a relationship with your audience. And I find that that's the hardest thing to do. And that's the thing that takes more of the mental space and actually requires more of you. Because it's not about your charm or your charisma or your ability to do. Now it's about your skills and how do you communicate what you care about and your values. Like I done a post recently, I was tired and I just thought, and in my head I just thought, let me just say what I actually think. And usually I just say what I think anyway, but I thought, let me really even be intentional about that. And I thought, okay, cool, album did this amount of streams. However, what I'm more gassed about is this message, and this message. And I kind of left it, I made it anonymous so you could just see the messages. And I was like, this is what I care about. Yeah. And for me, I know that post was more valuable on my feed than other posts that might have got 300, 400, 500k views, because the people that saw it came into my world and saw my values and saw what I cared about more. And I think that's the thing. I feel it's almost like the perfect scenario for me would be one where, 50% of my content was to reach new people and 50% was just about cultivation. But that's a full-time job. And that's where the overwhelm comes in, because if you do that, you'll win. But then it's like, at what cost?
Yeah.
Because you will win. If you just say, you know what, social, cool, I'm going to tell everyone what I'm passionate about. Some people unfollow you because they're not passionate what you're passionate about. But the ones that stay, they're connecting with you now. So they're going to be the ones that engage more. And then you'll reach new people. That's like the funnel. You understand? But keeping it up, that's crazy.
Yeah. And I think that you hit the nail on the head, because it's basically, it can't be about numbers, because that encourages an attitude that is harmful. Not just, it's harmful to you as a person, because like the rules of art and the rules of all of this stuff is completely different. It's like, if sometimes they coincide, but they don't often, and it can drive you nuts if you are measuring your success as an artist just by numbers, because the app itself doesn't. It can be amazing, like you said, for all these messages that you got. That's the best it can be. Someone you don't know, no connections to you, other side of the world, like feels something enough to express that to you. That's amazing. And like I wouldn't have that opportunity necessarily if it wasn't for social media. But on the other hand, I'm supposed to be writing songs. I'm supposed to be like gigging. I'm supposed to be doing that. That's like how. That's what I love doing,
and that's the core of everything.
And that's the core of it. So I think that's where it's overwhelming, because just naturally, if you're having to think about this, and other people are coming to you and they're using it as a marker of progress, which it is, and it's amazing, but you have to kind of know that when they're two different things.
I think also, like, because I went viral a year ago this month. Year ago in October was when I went viral.
Anniversary.
You got to post that video again just to be like, yo, is this how you found me?
Yeah, I will.
Boom.
I really will. But I went viral a year ago today. I think at the peak of my virality, I was at 31.2k followers or something, which is actually the exact amount, I think. And now I'm at 27.8. And it's funny, what we've been saying, when my follower count drops, I'm like, oh my God, I'm losing people. But it's been a year and there's still nearly 29,000 people following me. That is insane retention rate.
Yeah.
When
Like,
you think in
and
reality.
I actually, like, you guys have actually made me realize that, because there'll be moments where I'm like, oh my God, I'm losing followers. Why am I losing followers? They could be bots. They could have different values to me. They could be racists. Unfollow me if you're racist. You know what I mean? Like, that's not,
That's the plug. Yeah.
it's not my, that you're not my people. Like, that's okay. But like, to be able to retain that amount of people and them still care in somewhat. And I guess it kind of speaks to the content that I'm posting. They're understanding me more. And maybe because my content hasn't stayed trying to reach new people all the time in that way that my initial content was, maybe that's why I've retained people. You know, maybe that's why a year down the line, I have people that are still here, and ready to take in music. I don't know.
And a year down the line, you would say that I'm under the impression that your intensity is not the same as it was a year ago in terms of your output, like in terms of posting things on social media. Is that what you're saying?
No, I post every day still. The content's different.
But the
Now I'm
content's
world building.
Yeah, because you're doing a lot more of like the content stuff, the
Yeah.
high res videos, the aesthetic, and the
Yeah,
colour grades.
I got signed to a label at the beginning of this year off of the back of my live shows, but the fact that I had some social media following.
Yeah,
Got you.
That's what I wanted to do. That was my goal a
You said
year
it,
ago.
Yeah.
My question at the bottom, or
Yeah.
my caption at the bottom, was, the labels won't listen until I hit 10K, will you?
I remember that.
That was it.
She was saying that from early.
Yeah.
From early.
From
Until I hit
early as
10K,
well.
they will not listen, because they wouldn't listen, because I'd be walking into offices like, hello, oh, we love your music. Like, no, it's not ready. You're not ready yet. It's not ready yet. And my music was Ras Clark ready. My social media numbers were not Ras Clark ready to them.
To them, yeah.
So that's what I did. So when I got with my label, I said, and they're an independent label, they're a small label, but I said, no, I want to build a world. You know, I want people to see a post of mine and be like, that's Ashainë White. I want them to like scroll down my Instagram feed, and in not really a, you know, curated like elbow and ear and making the whole photo type of way, but like it be chaotic and manic, but they know that's Ashainë White's
Yeah,
world.
it's got your stamp on it.
So that's what I've been working on this year.
Yeah.
And I mean, no, my follower count isn't rapidly growing like it was a year ago, but I'm retaining the people. I'm releasing music.
And you got kind of what you wanted, though.
And I got exactly what I
Yeah.
wanted.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, it's key what you're saying as well, like building your world, the retention of it, having the right people in your network and people following you as opposed to just anyone for the sake of it. Kind of in some ways probably weeded out a lot of like you said, could have been bots, could have been any types of human beings or non-human beings, depending on what they were. So that's the blessing there, actually, because it's like it shows you that over an extended period of time who stayed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and I guess that's really important.
Mm.
It's making me think of food. It's making me think of like, is it with flour? Like when you know, flour kind of goes up for a bit and then like it drops.
Yeah, and then it get,
Like pastry.
Mhm. It settles.
It's settled.
Everything settles. The
Settles, yeah.
dust, it will settle.
yeah.
And I think it's dealing with how the dust settles is, I think, the conversation that people need to start having
Yeah.
now that people are. I feel like if you're a serious musician, an artist, singer, songwriter, rapper, whatever you are, if you are serious about doing this, you're posting on social media every day. If this is your career, you're posting on social media every day. So now I think it's about teaching people how to stay, how to make sure their mental health is good in this, because it's not normal to have 4,000 people view your post every day. Like, and that might feel like when you've got 30K followers, that 4,000 isn't a lot of people. That's a lot of people.
A lot of people.
Like, it's not normal to be checking your follower count or how many people you've reached that month. That's not normal. That's not normal stuff. That's not what we're supposed to be doing. So, and it's also kind of what these apps want from us.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
your
How
follower
to keep
count's
us
dropping. You better keep
That's a
posting.
that's a whole kind of worms though, isn't it?
And look,
All
there's a
kind
whole
of
Netflix documentary about how they keep people looped
Yeah.
into social media. How do they keep creators looped into social media?
Yeah, the reward system.
I think this.
No, but yeah, I was gonna pose the question actually. With as empowering as it is to have built your own fan base now, which at the moment belongs to Instagram. If we're thinking about Instagram, how do we shift that power dynamic? Do you now feel like you're almost now at service and almost doing exactly what Instagram has wanted you to do? Because really and truly, you keep doing that. Instagram's winning. Do you know what I mean? Like, people are coming on here. So, like, where do you think the power actually sits?
I think it's like a job though, innit? I think like if I don't know, let's say I'm a teacher, the school want me to deliver amazing lessons and that reflects well on the school get funding, and in return I get paid. So it's like Instagram is a job to a degree, because if you give Instagram quote unquote what it wants on a very simple level, you get back what you want. Because really what you want is you've created work, you've created art, you've made your music, you're going on Instagram to show people your music. So you give Instagram, I don't know, engaging content, it gives you attention. And then more eyes go on your music. And that's a very simple equation. And I think that as creatives, because we're so creative, but like there's an element of like we can sometimes be idealistic. So we'll be like, I might think something like, oh, I wish it wasn't like this. It's almost like the equivalent of me saying, I wish gravity didn't exist so I could just fly. So, oh, I wish I didn't need to build an audience of people to grow an audience and sell out shows and hopefully fulfill my dream of doing a sold out world tour one day. This is hypothetical. It's not even my thing. But like, if someone dreams of doing that, and then at the same time they're saying, but I wish I didn't need to use social media, we would all scream delusion. So I think part of it is like, it is difficult and it is hard, but so is being a professional athlete. Professional footballer, you train 7 days a week, you don't see your family, you're getting needles in your legs every day because you're getting physio, you play one bad game, you miss a goal, the whole country's at your neck. Like, being a professional musician or career musician is almost the equivalent proportionally of being professional athlete.
It is. I believe.
Yeah, I believe it is.
In this day and age.
So then it's like, you know, I think what we need to almost assess sometimes when artists complain, because artists, it's like, okay, but what are you trying to do? Are you saying you want to be a career musician? Because if you're saying you love music, you enjoy it, and you just want to put it out there every now and again, then fair enough. But if you're saying you want to be a career musician, you're saying you want to be in the 1% bracket of people, and then you expect it to be easy.
This is
what?
It is.
What is going on?
That is
What?
This is a job.
Yeah.
It's work.
It's work.
It's work, and it's exciting work, and it's amazing work, and we're getting to do what we're passionate about, but it is a job.
It's hard.
And also I think with that, like, if your fan base is on Instagram, you, like, do what Dee did. Get people down into a room, get people understanding who you are, get people feeling your energy, like, use Instagram to take them people out of Instagram. You know, if you like start a mailing list and shove it down these people's throats, but that's also your responsibility to take that out of it. Instagram's not going to do that for you, or TikTok's not going to do that for you. You've got to create those spaces for your fans. You've got to create the space that you envision your career continuing to have. And if you want it, that's why I said that I wasn't really aiming to keep reaching loads more people on Instagram, because I was like, but this is great. I've started and I've found my crew. Done. Let's go. Come to a show now, though, please.
Cold.
Stream my music now, please. Buy my vinyl now, please. Like,
Cold.
Instagram has become like a extension. I think streaming and Instagram have become an extension of themselves. Is people giving music and content, art, value away for free.
Yeah. Borrowing.
And I think it's trying to get people to realize that the things that we do as artists are deserved of, even if it's like more attention or time and listening and ears and your money. Like, if you enjoy this stuff, you know, the stuff I post on social media isn't going to be exactly what you'll come and see at a show. Because it's a different thing. That's premium.
Yeah.
If you're in,
levels. There's the
levels
free
to this.
service. There's the
Then
premium.
there's seeing you live with the guitar there.
and then it's me, and it's the same. It's meeting you. It's understanding why the wall that you sit in front of is orange. Like, why you're at all those stations. Like, getting all those deep
tidbits.
It's the premium. So I think it's a artist's responsibility to move those people out of the free and into the premium.
Yeah. I think the dynamic has never changed. Like, artists used to walk down the street and didn't have microphones, so they'd have to play their instruments extremely loudly while people were walking around and going to work.
Wow.
And they'd have to sing incredibly loudly. And I'm sure there were people there who were like, I wish I could just have a quiet room so I didn't have to raise my voice all the time. And I think that you go to where the audience are, or you go to where the people that are interested in new music is. That we have no choice about that. And artists have always had to do certain things. You hear stories about in coffee shops, they pass the hat around so that people could put money in, and then they'd realize, oh, if someone attractive was passing the hat around, I'm gonna get more money. I give them a cut of this. So there's always been an element of like you have to think about how you're putting your stuff across. But I think fundamentally, like, it's just because it's where the audience is. It's just where the people are, and it's where you can reach them. So your question is a very good question, but I don't want to give. I feel like, as much as I'd love to think that I had a plan, I'm making it up as I go along all the time. Like earlier on, when someone was like, Ash was like, I post at 6 o'clock every night, and I was like, so 6 o'clock is 6 o'clock the time? And I was like, let me ask these guys before they go, what time? Did they think about time?
No,
I'm like,
that was just the time I could do it.
I know, but what I'm saying is like, all I know is what I've experienced, but I don't like that. It changes every day. You see them angry advisors who are like, what are you doing? They're like, if you're not posting 4 times a day, and I'm like, right, am I supposed to like you? So, like,
crazy.
So you're
that strict. It's not that formulaic down to a T.
And I think if it begins to feel like that as a consumer, as a scroller, I bet you're just doing the same thing. But then it's so complicated because it's like you said, like you reposted a video twice, and the third time I did really, really well, and so there's no rules.
There's no rules, but there's no rules, but then there's fundamentals, but there's no rules.
Exactly.
The fundamentals, yeah.
And I think I think the hardest thing that I remember experiencing when I was trying to start doing it was getting out of people would always be like, just get out your own way, and they're right about that. But also, like, I want to give somebody the feeling that I had. And on the one hand, I have to think about how I'm doing it. But on the other hand, it shouldn't, like, I don't want to think about it at all. And it's like when you said about that post where you were like, I'm just going to say how I feel.
Yeah.
And you're balancing all these things, and mostly it's unnatural and it's not healthy. And almost everyone I know who's like had a big following has a moment where they're like, what's going on? What is going on with this?
Like, right, you okay? Yeah, I bet people are following me. Okay.
And that's why I think this is sick, because I think like we've said that today. We've all said that today, where you're like,
yeah, it's like, well, but I just believe we are the digital equivalent of drug dealers, to be totally honest with you. Like I think about it. Like I was watching what's that film with that
that's gonna go viral, by the way.
Because we're giving people drugs, but like not bad, like toxic. We're giving
dopamine.
them, I believe dopamine. I believe we are. We're stimulating people's minds with the content we're putting out, and it's a legal trap, innit? Like you're not selling death. I mean, you can sell death through content, depending on the type of content it is. That's a whole nother conversation. But just looking at it, that's when I think of a lot of drug dealers, I just think about consistency and serving, and them understanding the context of serving people and giving people what they want and being present and available in that way. I just feel like that's what we are, innit? Like, and I feel like in today's society, like, I can't think of anyone in a country like this, in a first world country like this, that doesn't use a smartphone and use social media. Like, there are some people that I know that deliberately detox from social media. I'm one of them. Sometimes I detox. Lately, I haven't detoxed as much. This year, I definitely haven't detoxed as much as a consumer of content. But I know that there are some people that just don't use it. They're not on social media at all because they don't want to be. But the majority of people that I'm aware of are on it. And it's like, it's just understanding that we're just serving people, essentially, innit? Like, we are serving people. That's what I think comedians do. That's what I think artists do. That's what I think athletes do. They just serve people in one way or another.
I think you reap what you sow as well. I think there's that side of it. There was this funny because as artists, we have like divergent ways of thinking in it. So we always think outside the box, and we often see patterns in certain things. So this is such a random story. But I was looking at this is so random, but there was a story on Twitter of Jeremy Corbyn, and apparently he used to date Diane.
Yeah,
Abbott,
Diane
right?
Abbott. Yeah, I've seen this.
And I looked at the story and I said, oh, because obviously, whether he's won or not, everyone would agree that he's a prominent politician. He's been there. He's on the news. We know who he is. He is in history. When he dies, he's gonna be. You know what I mean? We're gonna know that was Jeremy Corbyn. And he took her out. Basically, they were dating for a bit. They used to live together. And she was like, "Oh, you're not taking me out, man. You're not taking me out on a date. What's going on? Like, what are you doing?" So he goes, "All right, I'll take you out." So then he tells her to wear a dress. Takes her out and takes her to the morgue, and says, "That's where Karl Marx is buried." And he had a big grin on his face, and he was telling, "That's where Karl Marx, the politician." And she was like, "Huh?" And then they broke up and whatever. But the reason why I'm telling that story is because there's an element of like the people that are going to move the needle or be the people that are spoken about or that are going to make a mark on history, whether it be on social media, whatever it may be at the time, are going to be the people that are obsessed and really, really, really live it. Really live it. Do you understand? And there's that element of like, that's what separates the people that are known in history or known for the longest period of time to those that are forgotten about. And it is that thing, like I look at someone like Munya, I said, bro, you're telling me you made a video of that quickly.
Yeah.
And then you done the next day, the next thing that happened, you made a video. That's a lot of sacrifice. You're not living a normal life to be doing that. You understand? So I think there is that. And I think what I also want to say is that social media is helped in a way that like building off platform outside of Instagram and these social media platforms, I wouldn't have sold at my show. I wouldn't have sold merch. I wouldn't have done those things. So part of me, as much as it's a sacrifice and it can be difficult at times, there's even an element of gratitude. I'm thankful in a way of like, you know what? I don't like this about Instagram, that about Instagram, but at the end of the day, you know, if I was to do a poll on the pitfalls of social media, the people who would respond on the poll would be responding to me on Instagram. So then now what?
Yeah, exactly.
We don't like it either.
Yeah. So on that question I have for all of you is, what has actually changed in your life, in your career, because of that? You know, it's a direct impact of the amount of followers that you've accumulated, of a post going viral that, you know, like you just said, I wouldn't have been able to do that if I didn't post X, Y, and Z, and I didn't go viral. What has actually changed? You've already mentioned, like a few of you mentioned, selling out your shows, bringing people out, bringing people to a space, which is a part of the musical experience. And also to do that post-lockdown is something also to be very proud of yourself as well, because a lot of artists are struggling. A lot of artists are struggling to do that. So the fact that you had a tool and you utilized a tool like Instagram to do that is amazing. But where else? Just so people actually know what has actually changed, and then we'll get on to what hasn't changed at all.
Okay. Just thinking out loud. Other than obviously having people actually come to my shows in person, and selling merch as well, people buying my merch. It gave me the confidence to actually make merch publicly and start selling it, because I felt like I had enough people there who might want to actually buy it. Like the bag next to me. Bag. I'm getting more money as well.
But this is important. That's something that you want, though. Yeah.
How funny that was.
I'm getting
Get more money.
Yeah. I'm noticing it. Like streams wise, like with my distributor, like lately, I've been getting more money frequently, and I'm like, whoa, like this is nice. I have a booking agent now as well, you know, and that's nice as well.
And you think that's due to the following?
Partially, yeah.
Okay.
Because the following, the viral moments led to certain shows and performances that led to certain people, i.e. booking agents, seeing me in those spaces and wanting to reach out and connect with me. I've done a few content jobs with Red Bull this year with Bliss. And again,
we love these.
Social media content, I think, was the root of it.
Yeah.
You know, because when they were looking for people to do these content jobs, I think me, Bliss, and the collective were part of Left Field. We were coming up in the algorithm a lot for the people who were curating the content that we were going to create for Red Bull, the company. So, yeah, so content jobs, increased streams, shows, merch. Yeah, it's all happening. Whereas, October? A year ago, I didn't have a booking agent. I hadn't done a live show. I didn't have any merch out. I was making money from streams, but not how much I'm making as of lately. So all those things have changed. What hasn't changed, I still have a day job. I still do my day job Monday to Friday, because although I'm getting more money from music, I still wouldn't consider it a full-time salary for me and my living expenses. Yeah, so it's like, it's weird. It's like, just touching on what you're saying about being obsessed. Becoming more obsessed about it has brought me more of these wins, let's say. I think I've become more obsessed because I've felt more rewards. I'd say this time last year, let's go a bit further back. I'd say 2022, I was interested. I felt maybe I was committed, but I wasn't obsessed.
Okay, there's a difference.
Like, if we put it in 3 stages. Actually, I was watching a video the other day about the difference between being interested in something, committed to something, and obsessed with something. And it's usually when you're obsessed with something that really makes the difference long term. But yeah, just going back to it, the only thing I'd say that hasn't changed in the past year, I still have a day job. So that's where I'm at.
Okay.
What has changed is the way I wanted to make music wasn't necessarily in the environment around me, and so the first record that I made didn't sound like what was the norm all the way. And so what changed for me was, when you're making music, especially, I don't know how you guys write, you're either in the studio or you're at home, and music doesn't exist without listeners. And so I wasn't the kind of artist then that was going to be necessarily jumping out at the time in certain avenues. They weren't going to be like, get that guy. And so for me, it gave me a sense of, it was no longer in my head that it could be something that could bring value to someone in a meaningful way. And so that was the most important thing. And then from that, like, selling out shows, going on my first tour, like being invited to spaces that, like, maybe some of them I wouldn't have got in, you know, and like, but the shows was like the thing that was the most important, and the streams, and so that stuff changed in a way that it gives you like I've seen it. It can because it's something before then that's more internal, and it becomes external at that time. So that's valuable. In terms of what hasn't changed is the feeling of you don't know what's going on. Like, and that's okay, but it's more, I guess, when you're engaging with other people who maybe don't do music, and they don't understand how someone can live in the manner that you sort of take as the norm. So it hasn't changed. The instability hasn't changed. The precariousness of how impractical it is to live hasn't changed. But you don't think about that a lot when you're in it. It's just normal. Like, you write the song, you record the song, then you put the shot on. So I'm still at a stage where I'm still trying to work it out. Like, haven't left day job fully, like, at all, because it doesn't make sense. Like but you begin to see how it could work. And that's the biggest positive, is you begin to see, oh, it's not mad, because this way of doing things actually makes a lot of sense. So that's my answer.
Okay, so far I'm getting, obviously, sending out live shows, merch, monetary values coming through. Access is what you've kind of mentioned there as well, like access to spaces that you wouldn't have.
More important than that is the shows and the the community. Oh, sorry.
Tie in, as well.
To repeat it.
Yeah, no, but just to tie in, just the different themes, I guess, of what it does. It sounds like also like social media is like more of a bridge than in a way. It kind of is bridging you to a destination in which, like you're saying, you can see it. So you're getting closer to, I guess, this life that you want. And I mean, everyone's idea of success is very different, and why you create music, it might not necessarily be to go on a world tour or whatever. It might actually just be to speak your truth and live on a comfortable life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true. Just adding to this as well quickly, like one thing that has changed is that I love being a solo act, but I am more excited about doing collective work. So like, I think about next year and what that can look like for me as an individual, but also as a collective artist, because I've been making music for so long, and it's like in the past year I'm experiencing all of this perceived success, and it's just got me thinking about, okay, but what is going to be sustainable in 2, 3, 4 years if for the past decade I've been doing solo stuff predominantly? And I thought to myself, like, I'm very much open to pouring into a collective effort. You know, like, we're part of the same collective, Left Field, and, you know, depending on how things go, like, I genuinely would be happy as it currently stands to just pour into collective stuff more next year. Whereas last year I wasn't sure about that. I was still trying to figure out what it'd be like to get some attention as a solo act.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. What about you, Ashainë? What has, I mean, you've kind of touched on this already, but what has changed categorically for you? And you know it's to do with the following, and what hasn't changed?
Yeah, I mean, I think what you said about social media numbers being a bridge is really important, because pre-social media numbers, I was talking to these people who really liked my music and they loved it, and it's everything. Yeah, in a couple years, like, I'm like, look, it's not a couple years, it's now. And if you want to be on board with it now, jump on board with it now. And having the social media numbers after I worked my own butt off to get those numbers gave me the vim behind that statement. I told you, if you want to get on it now, get on it now. And then there was like an army of 30k people behind me being like, yeah, get on it now, because we just discovered this thing. So I think for me, it kind of allowed me to pop up on some people's radars, you know. It allowed me to manifest the things that I'd been working towards. And to be honest, like I said, in the first ever post that I posted, I said the labels won't listen until 10k. That's what I'm aiming for here, is a stable way of me getting out my music, because I'm writing a lot of it and I want to get it out to people. And I wanted to make them listen. I would have been pissed off if they weren't listening after that. So luckily I got into a great relationship with a label called 5DB, and they're amazing. And I'm getting to release music. I released an EP this year, and I'm really proud of it.
Have they got a nice little space in what part of London is
West.
it? Yeah, I've been there.
It's so beautiful. It's a community.
Because I saw Belle Cobain perform there.
Yeah. She did a lunch with, which is so amazing. And I think what you said about community is really important. And I've always been like, before I was an artist, I wanted to be a backing vocalist because of that. I love community. I love supporting people. I love serving people. Like, and if I can do that with my craft and my talent, let's go. That's like my idea of a dream. So I think Instagram helped me to find how I do that for my audience. And helped me facilitate to getting a booking agent, to signing with an indie, to releasing music, and to people taking me seriously. And also, I created a genre, and I'm a figure of representation in the underground London scene as a black girl who plays guitar and makes alternative rock music, which is like, if you told me that when I was 12 years old, I would be like, like, it's a dream. Like, that's what I wanted to be. So, yeah, I think a lot has changed. I also think my perception of Instagram and social media has changed. It's not that deep, man. Just post the stuff. Get obsessed. Just post your music. Who else is going to post your music but you? So if you want people to hear it,
So true.
if you're proud of it, post it.
Just let it go, innit?
Yeah, it's
Literally.
completely changed. But, and I think that's a double-sided thing. It's changed in the sense that I'm like, post content, but also it's now like, maintain the people, get the views, you know, like that instability is still there. Will anyone see this post about my headline show? Will anyone buy my vinyl? Will anyone? And they might. But you have that doubt in your head now. You're like, I have all these people, but are they? Will they? Won't they? Being an artist is unstable. And it will be, like, because we live in this industry where things can change in a minute, and they will. And it's about being able to find your feet in that change and go again. And if you have your values attached to your music and who you are as a person authentically, then you'll float, I think.
And there's that beauty though that anything can change in a minute. So that's also on the positive side of things. You can wake up next minute, one of your favorite artists is in your DMs, like, let's get in the studio together. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and that's a reality.
You're laughing 'cause, you're thinking of That's
Has it happened?
Yeah, I was in the studio with Jeremy the other day.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so
And,
That's amazing.
And this is social media.
That's through Twitter, isn't
What?
it? Really?
It was through Twitter. Yeah, it was actually. So it was my song London. It was that I tweeted about it last year when it came out. Like October, the video came out. We got to like December, and I was just like, oh, I'm gonna post it again because it's been a while. I'm in a reflective mood. It's December, and I was like, track of the year ? Posted it on Twitter. I woke up the next day. It's just blowing up everywhere. And then I look at the quote tweets and I see Jeremy's in there. I'm like, oh, sick. Like he's feeling it. And then he's gone to another song and he's publicly tweeting about that too. And he's doing all the ad
In his
libs
car,
and-
innit? He was listening to Balance of Symmetry.
in the car and all this stuff. And I'm like,
yeah.
well, he's really going out of his way. Like he not only rates it, but he's really
He's
showcasing that
engaging.
engagement publicly. Like, and that was cool. So then I remember I didn't have his email, so I just filled out his form on his website. I was like, hey, bro, hope you're blessed, blah, 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 blah. I've got this song idea. I'm just letting you know about it. Blessed. And then I didn't hear anything back for like a year. And then, or just under a year. And then August, was it? Or start of September? Like late August. I just get an email. Hey, bro, I got your email. Blah, 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 blah. I'm at studio this day. If you can make it, I'm writing a song about this and this is the brief. And if you want to come at this time. And I was like, oh, sick. And that was rooted through.
Social media.
That's so
Socials.
amazing, man.
Yeah. And
So
like,
sick.
It's cold.
and the session was great. Like we made a good song. It was about friendship actually. And in the session, I was just thinking, wow, like this is sick how this is all stemmed from phone screen,
Yeah.
you know?
And the fact that you said, let me post again as well.
Boy, I'm gonna go post some content again because that is so true, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's like
Absolutely.
congratulations. That's
Thank you.
amazing. But it's also like
It's amazing, bro.
when you make good
Congratulations.
music and you put it in front of people, it will find the people
Yeah,
that it needs to find.
yeah.
It will find the people that it needs to find. It might take a month, a week, a day, an hour.
Yeah.
If it's what it is and it's good.
And also you're patient as well. Like you send that out, no ego involved, because ego can sometimes get.
Sabotage.
Do you know what I mean? You can think they ain't responded yet.
Okay, yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
What?
But also within that year, you were consistent.
Yeah.
So you done your thing, like you shot your, like you shooted your shot, however you say it, and then you cracked on.
Cracked on. That's it. Again, I just even reaching out to Jeremy in my head, I was like, this is a lottery thing. Like, how many people are contacting this person? Like, I'm just gonna do it and I'm gonna forget about it and like focus on other things. And if it comes back around, oh, sick. Like, and then it did. And I think there's like a lesson there of like not being discouraged because things can change. Even if it's unlikely, it's still a possibility.
Yeah.
So when people, you know, even me, like to this day, like I still post despite my virality and whatever, my fame, my internet fame, like I still post things today that don't get that much engagement, but it doesn't really faze me how it used to, because I just look at it and I'm like, okay, I can post this thing on, I don't know, on TikTok or Instagram and it can get a really low engagement, like almost nobody saw it, but I just leave it. I'm like, okay, tomorrow I got something else. Next day I got something else.
I think that's the best way to be.
That's the mentality.
I think that's the best way to be, where it's just like it's not life. It can change your life, but you can't get discouraged by it or take it internally, because it's at the end of the day, you just gotta do your thing, man, and hope. That's all we're doing. You're just doing your thing and hoping.
Increasing your chances as well.
Increasing your
Putting
chances.
yourself out
Enjoy
there.
yourself.
Because there's a saying about how luck is just like,
You make your own.
yeah, and it's the result of
Two things,
you get more lucky the more consistent you are, innit?
Yeah.
Like you're just increasing your chances of luck by being more presently consistent in whatever it is you're doing. And yeah.
I'm also very conscious of time. So
Okay.
I don't wanna hold you up for much
I'm having so much
longer.
fun. I would be.
Yeah, my heart's full. My heart's full though. But it's good talking to other people that have had a similar experience though.
Because what
it
has
feeds
changed?
you.
What
Yeah.
has changed for you, and what hasn't changed for you?
What changed for me? I think similar to Deeriginal. So shows that changed, merchandise has changed. You know, I was able to, like, I did Hackney Oslo and we were able to sell that out.
Wow.
And I think outside of social media that wouldn't have happened. And it was mad. I think even like standing on the stage and looking at all the people, I thought, rah.
And they know your lyrics.
They know my lyrics.
Yeah.
I think it was the first time for me that I had a show that was majority not my people. I know because this is this thing. I did a show in Peckham Audio before, and it was nice. It was very good, and we sold it out before. But I knew a lot of the people in the room, and that's sick. It's like, yeah, you man came to support me. But then the Hackney Oslo one was the first time I was like, I'm looking in the crowd, and I'm like, I don't know these people.
Amazing.
So that was surreal for me. I'm like, this came from just going ham and, you know, the socials thing. Obviously got a booking agent through it. Been able to sell my own clothing, sell my own merchandise. That's been sick as well, being able to do that stuff because I've always wanted to do that. And now it's like a reality and there's people who actually like want it as well. Even if it's like a tiny fraction of my following, it's sick to be able to do that. Offers as well. So I think like before, it was more a thing where I would want an offer because I might want funding for something. I'd be like, I'd be sick if I get this offer from this person, that person. And the replies are few and far between. Now it's like DM, but it's like, do you know what I mean? And like the offers have come through and I'm like, and I'm even in a place where I'm like, I don't even need to take that offer. I'm like, I wasn't in that position before at all, where I would actually be sizing up an offer and thinking, is that right for me though in this stage? Even if I get that now, is that going to help me? I think financially definitely impacted me in terms of like streaming and different things like that, in terms of like how that can be like a supplement to what I'm doing. I've been able to cut. I work 3 days a week now, and it's nice because it's like kind of like two things going on. It's like half music, half. Do you know what I mean? So, it's, definitely changed the way I live.
And what hasn't changed?
What hasn't changed? I think the pressure. I think the pressure's even increased. To be fair. Because now it's like, you know what? You can actually do this, you know?
Yeah.
And then it's like you feel like there's a weight on you to deliver. And I feel like now I understand certain rappers when there's a lyric that Kano has where he's like, he's on his Fire in the Booth, he's like, Nan just cussed me out, said that I never dial the digits. I don't go to Nan's unless it's excavation fishing. Basically, he's talking about how the people that he used to engage with a bit more, he doesn't as much. Not because he doesn't want to, but because he's on this mission that he's on now. And I think the most difficult thing for me has been the thing that hasn't changed, or the thing that's difficult, I would say. I don't know if that's answered the question directly, but it's time, giving time to things and people, like in a way that is like before. Like you can't live the same way after certain things happen because your world expands.
Yeah.
And they might not understand that expansion. So that's been difficult, you know.
I don't understand that.
They might not understand the expansion.
Yeah.
It's true though.
Pressure is a real thing.
Pressure. What?
Yeah. Because it is like, okay, cool. It's like, oh yeah, I wanted to prove to everyone that I could blah, blah, blah. They're like, cool. Go on then. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, sure. And I feel confident that I can, but it's still like, oh shit, like it's actually happening.
They believe in you now, innit? Because we actually believe they believe in you now.
Boy, well, especially when like people are like investing in your art, like that aren't, you know, my producer boyfriend is investing in my art, but he's also my producer boyfriend, so he better. But like, you know, having like a label or a distributor or whoever's giving you money and they're being like, all right, cool, make that back. And with your social media followers, make that back. And I'm like, oh, but I posted that once and it got 1 million views, but I don't really know how I did it. Like, so I'm trying, but
yeah,
you know, but that consistency and the faith and the trust in yourself and who you are and what you're doing will help you through. But that you're always going to get that like,
Yeah.
woo, if I do sign this brand deal and I post this piece of content, is it going to get the views that they want to see from that?
Mhm.
And it probably will, but there's always that little bit of imposter syndrome, like in the back of your head.
Oh yeah, that never goes. Well, hopefully it does eventually. I want to tie it all in because I like to tie things in. So things that have changed for you, said monetary income. The live shows has been, everyone said that, which I love because I feel like that's probably the best part
That's what I
of.
care about the most.
Do you know what I mean? So I love that that's
Care about
been
the
able to happen as well. Access, being able to be in spaces or rooms or invited in places that maybe you wouldn't have been able to before.
Sorry, because you said rooms, I started thinking like the living room.
I can have good picture.
In the yard, they're like, you're not allowed in here now. Unless
I got from Ash like exposure, and I know the word exposure kind of gets a bit of a bad rap now because like exposure can't pay the bills, but exposure's still exposure.
Exposure can pay the bills.
But yeah, it can put
Especially
you
on
in front of
social
people.
media,
Yeah, and autonomy is also what I got from you as
Amen.
well, which I think we all want autonomy over our creativity, and we've seen countless times in history so many artists battling with that when they do sign on the dotted line and they don't even know what they're signing over half of the time to a machine that really only cares about the money. Do you know what I mean? As well. And now I'm trying to remember what I was thinking when Bliss was talking as well. Fulfillment, actually, I got from you and what you were talking about, like the actual fulfillment. Like, yeah, you've always wanted to sell merch. You've got to do that now.
Yeah.
Seeing new people in the crowd, again, the live shows. So it's nice that actually, see, it feels like, yes, it does have a positive impact on your career.
Yeah,
and it is worth the posting all the time. But as long as you do it in a way that's convenient and works for you.
For your lifestyle, yeah.
For your lifestyle.
It seems with all of us as well, like we've gotten this increase of followers for the right reasons. Because you can technically go viral for anything. You know, if you go outside and slice a cat's head off, like you're gonna go viral.
Yeah.
Like,
Man said trigger warning.
like,
That cat now has 8 lives. No, stop it.
but that was a bit dark. That was a bit dark. But you get my point though, innit? Like you can today you could do anything crazy and you're probably gonna go viral if it's crazy enough. But it seems we've experienced virality for reasons that we want to on our terms.
Yeah.
You know, we're not just doing anything to get it. In that sense, that's what it feels like when I hear you lot talk.
And that's why I knew we were gonna have a nice conversation anyway, because I feel like you all have that in common. I've never once seen your content and thought, what, this ain't them. Do you know what I mean? And it's funny when you were touching on like, oh my God, are people going to be like, yeah, are they posting again? I've never thought that. If anything, I'm like, yes, girl, get your following.
I'm like that when I see your thing, because I saw the production. I saw you in some abandoned warehouse or something. I thought, raw. I thought she got the bag now, innit? What's going on? And we love cats, by the way. Cause
We love cats.
you know what I mean? We just got to put that.
yeah.
We love cats.
Yeah, we love cats. Definitely.
We love cats.
The original
no
doesn't love
violent
cats.
behavior.
We love cats.
I like. Oh, let me not say what I was about to say.
Hey.
It's a bit compromising.
Boom.
It's a bit. Yeah, I like cats.
I have so many questions
Amen.
that I could continue with this, but I'm also very conscious of time. I want to hold tight Bliss though for coming in crutches.
Yeah.
No, man. I took the
Thank
step.
you.
Thank you, man.
And the fact that you said, you know, your world's expanding now and your time, I appreciate it. So thank you. Thank you all so much for coming and just believing in, I guess, what I'm doing
Yeah, we believe in you.
and what I'm trying to pour out there, but also to get this perspective, because also this is a benchmark in all your careers. And I'm hoping, like every single artist that I talk about, that we get to look back at a video and be like, rah, that was just then.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? I genuinely predict for all of you that going forward, this is going to be such a nice moment to look back on, where it's like only 70k. Even though then point we're talking about, let's get that in the bank account. Do you know what I mean? That's what will be in the bank account.
Yeah.
This has been in honor of the Under 5K Club.
Come on.
Yeah.
So I want to use now to actually ask you, because this is a community, so it's also about bigging up other people. Are there any music artists you know that have under 5,000 followers?
Yeah.
Artist called Turtle. TRTL.
I was gonna say
that's
the
why I said
same
it for you,
thing.
innit? So that's why I said it for you, innit?
Pretend that whoever you say is
That's
the first choice.
That's
now.
why I said it before you, innit? Because I knew. Because I knew you were gonna say. I was gonna ask if you come around this way and said.
Ash is like,
Ask for
Okay.
TRTL Turtle. Cold. Vocalist, vibey.
Yeah.
R&B sort of like grime, rap, R&B sort of energy. I think I sent you her. Think about I've sent her to you.
She's
She's cold.
Yeah, man. I just feel the same, bro.
Oh, well, he's your person.
He's trying to piggyback on his.
Hey, you two can go before me because I'm gonna actually try and think of somebody else who I think should be mentioned.
Hilariously, a lot of my favorite artists and my friends have been posting on social media regularly, and they've got their followers.
Oh, they're above now.
Okay.
I'm gonna shout out my producer.
Hey.
Go for it.
I think Jimmy Bettini deserves to have a massive following because I think he is the future of music production, and I say that here.
Boy, heard that here.
Come on.
And I say it like he's amazing. And I think him and the way that he develops artists as a producer, people aren't doing nowadays. So I think it's at Jibby Bettini.
Okay, you're gonna have to send me all these acts because I'm gonna edit this all nicely, and then I'll make.
Your editors are cool, by the way.
Thank you, thank you. Me and CapCut. We love
I trust.
Do you use it on your laptop?
Yeah.
CapCut's the
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, on the laptop.
CapCut.
Yeah, bangs.
It's, you know what,
bangs.
you should give quick tips. You should do quick tips.
Well, enjoy it. Be obsessed with it. I sit in front of that laptop like this is the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cold. Though.
I got into CapCut because of the auto lyric feature. That's what caught me. Just makes life easier, innit? All these captions we're talking on vids, text and everything.
Yeah, sex.
Yeah, no, CapCut is the one. So, the one. Anyone watching that doesn't use CapCut and likes to make content with words on screen, you should look at CapCut.
That's the way. And also, it's accessible as well. It's inclusive.
Yeah, it's free.
Yeah, exactly.
As well.
But also, it's so inclusive for people that actually captions really do help. So it's not even just a case of whatever. It's just more inclusive, and then you're getting a wider pool of people. You haven't come off the hook. Have you got an artist? One?
I got bear.
Okay, tell me one.
I'll tell you one. I got my boy Will. I think he's amazing. He doesn't post enough, but he doesn't care. But that's fine. He's an incredible artist.
What's his artist name?
Fretworm.
Fretworm.
And then I got my other boy Tagore as well.
What name?
Okay, he's doing two.
So those I got two. So
You're gonna have to send me the ads. So
I will. I'll send them through.
Okay.
Yeah, it's tough because I know there's more. I know there's even more people that you would say, innit? Yeah. It's hard to actually like really pick one. You know,
I also don't know people's follow accounts. So that's
I don't look at stuff like that.
I'm gonna go on one of them and then it's gonna be like 15K. Like,
well, that's what I was
you
thinking.
need a shout out.
I was like Bina, Maisie. I know Bina's
Bina now, innit?
Yeah,
She's Bina now.
If I continue this, that's someone else I'll have on the couch.
I mean, look, I'm here on my Instagram looking now
Go for it.
that reason. Like off the top of my head, I'd say Fraser the Third. Like Fraser the Third.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like he
To be honest, he's on my list anyway.
yeah, like him,
Alfie, no? Alfie?
him, Alfie Rudman as well.
Yeah.
Like
Kyra.
yeah, Alfie Rudman's cold. Like Alfie Rudman's very cold.
Parkland.
Like,
I don't know if Parkland has a fight. Parkland's
Still
cold.
shout out though.
I did a song called I Told Him and he produced it. Phenomenal producer. He had like 100 different channels, but he played everything.
Okay.
Cold.
yeah,
He's a whiz.
It's crazy. There's so many names.
Yeah.
I can't
That's why I'm doing this though.
Could just like send you a list afterwards.
Yeah, no, but do.
Because I'll try not to overwhelm you though. Because
No, but this is why I'm doing it anyway. To just
Well,
help.
big up you.
Reach out.
Yeah, big up you though.
What you're doing,
Big up you though.
What you're doing,
Come
what
on.
you're doing is crazy.
Yeah.
What you're doing is
Come on.
crazy.
It's like stop now, everyone.
Nah, do you know what? Let's turn.
No,
Let's turn
guys,
it in.
the
Let's turn
time.
it in. Let's turn it in.
How have you found it posting content regularly?
Do you know what? Okay, so when you mentioned getting out of your own way, that's what I had to do. So the Under 5K Club was born from when my show on BBC Radio London was discontinued. It's crazy as well how you attach yourself to these platforms. So I was questioning my value. I was questioning, okay, who am I anymore? A big part of me was like coming onto a platform like BBC, which a lot of artists, they're going to jump at that. So it's an easy sell, do you know what I mean? So now I was like, I guess the same thing again was, how do I keep people locked in with me? And how do I own that so it can't be taken away from me? So I had bare people asking me, where's your content? Where's your content? Where's your content? And I was like, I thought just being in my room talking to myself. And the thing is, I used to do that stuff before, but it was just very like off the cuff. I wouldn't take it too seriously. But I think the last person who asked me, and it was someone actually at Capital Radio, and they were like, where's your content? I said, you know what, you're going to be the last person to ask me this. So I sat down and I thought, okay, what's something that I know I can talk about forever? And that's music. That's music art. As I said, what's something that aligns with something I've already been doing? So it's not a complete jump scare for people like, what's she doing now? So it's music artists. In fact, supporting a lot of music artists. That's what I did on BBC. That's what I was doing before. So I said, I'm passionate about it. I can be obsessive about it as well. And then I thought, okay, and how is it going to just help me grow? Because also it's like a catch-22. I'm growing with artists too. Do you know what I mean? So I was like, okay, it's also got to work for me at the end of the day.
Best of both.
So
You
I'm
already
like,
had a relationship with the artist.
this is what I'm saying. And I also know how much it means, especially for someone that's growing my brand and stuff. When people engage you from early, you don't forget those people. You don't forget, like, you're not here just because it's popular now. You're here because you genuinely fucked with me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
That's something we didn't touch on. And have you guys felt that? Like, because I felt that heavy. Because I've been out here telling people about grunge soul for a time, and then I go viral on Instagram, and it's like, would you like to come play a show? And we love your sound. You know, we've been listening to it, and it's like, you don't know me. Like, you haven't known me, and that's okay. Like, I think it's battling with like taking your ego out of it. Ego plays too much of a part in people's lives nowadays, and being like, it doesn't matter if they didn't know you; they know you now. That was the point.
That's
But
mature,
also,
It's still, you know what I'm saying?
that's long. You called me Ashainë before, and
The thing is, I think it's about discernment. Like, when it comes to other people and you know, when people approaching me, whether they knew me from before, was rocking with me before or now, sometimes I can just tell when it's bullshit, right? And they're not really that invested. And then I will decide in my head whether it's worth working with them because of the bigger picture. And I'm like, I'm just not even gonna take it personal. You want me for a very specific thing. I want you for a specific thing. Let's go. You don't have to bullshit with me. It's just it's just an exchange. It is what it is. You get versus, there's not really much of a return of exchange here, and you're just bullshitting me. Like, nah. Just having discernment. Sometimes I can work with the bullshit if I feel like I'm getting something out of it that works for me, but if not, then I'm like, nah. And I think when it comes to people rocking with me from like the start of my journey or not, it just depends. It just depends on, because then I try to remember myself and other people who I might rock with at a certain point that I didn't rock with at the beginning for whatever reason. And when I kind of humble myself and I go, but I've also been that person.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, I've been there
I'm
too.
not high ground. Like, I'm not, because there are people that I might see and be like, that person's cold swipe.
Yeah.
That person's cold swipe. Okay, they're going ground. That person's cold. Hey, let me just linger a bit. Well, raw, they're going. And then you might support them a bit more, just like subconsciously. But I think another thing I was going to say, which is mad, and I sometimes go on these philosophical sort of things. But you know what it is, yeah? Like, 70% of what we've said in this room, and that's a random stat, yeah, about social media, has been positive. And I think the reason why is anchored in our experience of it. We saw something difficult, we were challenging, we overcame it, we saw the result, and now we're on the other end of it. So we're like, you know what? Social media is tricky, but it's actually really good. What my hope is that we get to the same place in terms of streaming. And here's what I mean by that. Here's what I mean. I know people now. We all know people on our network now. I know people on our network. The man them 600k monthly listeners. I know a guy who's on 1 million monthly listeners and has like 8,000 followers on Spotify. If you ask that guy, do you think Spotify pays enough? He'll say yes, because he's earning about 8k a month. Because it's relative to your experience, right? Because I think Spotify pays enough. I'm not earning that much from streaming, but I think, wait, you're telling me I could have a full-time salary if I hit 500,000 streams in terms of monthly listeners. And obviously that's far away, but there was a point where being on my following was far away. So I'm almost trying to project the same way I was able to grow on social media. With a leap and maybe different strategy and different things, it might just be possible to go that way on DSPs. And I know I'll be having this similar type of conversation. If I was to reach that, I'll be saying, yeah, I thought it was hard growing on these sort of things before. But no, it's good. You get a payment every I think everyone that's winning in that world is saying that 0.01 that's paying my rent.
No, but Snoop Dogg actually came out and
you've also got to think about
independent, by the way.
Independent.
Yeah, that's true.
Because the man them like independent on 500k. The man them there's the man them earning 7k, 8k a month just off streaming.
And that's all going to him.
all going to him.
He's
He produces it. He produces it. He's got no deal. He's got no distributor. He doesn't need an advance. So everything's relative.
Everything
But
is
even
yeah.
but even with the like, because I mean I am signed to an indie label. I've taken a reasonable deal where it's 50-50 split, and I get my masters back in like 7 years or something.
Oh,
Okay.
nice. License. Oh.
So when I recoup this tiny advance, nothing crazy, nothing major, which if I hit 500k followers, I could recoup in 2 months.
Look at that.
Okay.
Like, and
Look at that.
like that actually just like, again, flipped something in my head. I'm like, recouping my birthday. Nah, I'm still an independent artist. Like, I still don't have millions and millions of pounds. Like, I could recoup in a year
Yeah.
and then be on my way. And I think that's what people need to start to realize, is that social media gives you the control to decide how you move in your career. If you do then want to sign to a major label, cool, man, go ahead if that's your like thing. But we have options.
We have
now,
options. Yeah.
you know, and for different types of artists and different types of music and different types of things and where you're trying to reach, those options are going to be
Different types
different.
of things, yeah.
Yeah.
But we have options.
Sorry, I got stuck.
Yeah, I
there.
was backing
like,
it.
Yeah.
I was backing it for the thumbnail.
We're going to have to stop the conversation now.
Okay.
But again, thank you. I know that anyone watching this is going to take away something that's going to change the way that they approach social media, or even just approach their artistry. You never know. It definitely would have shifted their perspective. And then we create that impact. And that for me is all I care about. Impact. So yeah, actually no, I want the money too. But yeah, anyway, yeah, thank you so much. Actually, no, wait, before we go, you've all got things happening coming up. Albums are being dropped, live shows, tours. Let's go round. What's happening?
So right now we are 2 weeks away from our first ever debut headline show.
Cheese.
For context, we are 14 years into me putting out music publicly, obviously before streaming existed. Before I was Deeriginal, D'Angelo, Angel Records, Lil Slings. Okay, bare names, but yeah. So yeah, that's what's happening right now for me.
Congratulations, man.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Sick.
New album on the 18th of October.
Amazing.
And my biggest headline show yet on the 20th of October. And
Where
then
is it?
Lafayette.
Boy.
And
Where
then
is that?
Yeah, that's big boy thing.
King's Cross.
Big boy
nice.
thing.
St. Pancras. It's hard to say King's Cross without saying St. Pancras after. I don't know why. And then tour November.
Cold.
Big.
Bristol is sold out.
Cold.
And Brighton is not yet. So come to that.
Sick.
Big.
Cold.
Ash.
I have my biggest headline show yet at Colours, Hoxton,
Hey.
on the 23rd of November,
Hey.
which is so soon. And I've got a single coming out in November.
Amazing.
And then a new EP in the new year.
And you've signed a deal with a label as well.
I have,
which has
yes.
happened, which is
Come
dope.
on.
Nice.
So it's coming out on 5DB.
Well done.
Big.
Bliss.
I announced my tour today, so doing the UK tour.
Yes.
And then
Lively.
Doing that in December. So yeah, we've got 4 dates announced. There might be another one. And then I've got an EP coming out that's meant to come out either end of November, might be early December. So working on that. And yeah, just more.
So it sounds like you've got a good end of the year. Good last quarter. We love this. Jeez, okay. Well, no more rambling. Thank you so much. It's been Amelia Poamz, and we're out. This feels so weird to do, and then I'm going to have to run over there